Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This is Mark Galvin, the founder and president of ePresence. We're a social media agency. We help folks with all forms of social media, from company social media to individual. We help whole executives out there who need their entire team cleaned up and managed because, well, they got other things to do. We take care of that kind of work for folks, as well as managing all social media for organizations. How's Your ePresence is a show that's focused on helping businesses and business people and individuals figure out social media a little better. How can you do it a little better in your, let's get an ROI on social media. Let's get a job. Let's build our relevancy or become an influencer. All these things are important to us as business people on social media. So we're here to help you with that. And every show, we bring you a little bit of nuggets here and there that can help you get a little more proficient at that task. So glad you're here. Thrilled you're joining us. As you're here the first time, or maybe you're here for the second or third or beyond that, I'd love to urge you to, if you're listening on the podcast, jump on the YouTube channel or the Facebook channel, but if you will subscribe to our show. And the way you subscribe is right, did I do it right? Right, this way. Yeah, this way. So right down there, you'll see there's a button to subscribe on YouTube. Why do you want to do this? It's because then you get notified when we're sharing new content. And because we're always giving you ways to help you do social media a little better, then we'd love for you to get that notification, be it on Facebook or on YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe on your podcast and that podcast app, whatever that is. We're everywhere. You'll end up with it showing up in your feed. And if you're like me, I have this podcast app that I just think is the coolest thing in the world, and it's called Overcast. So whatever podcast app you're using, it will show up, and on my podcast app, we automatically show up. So I want to share something pretty cool. You may have heard us talk about this before. We have a webinar that we were offering for folks for LinkedIn, where we do a 1-hour webinar to clean up a LinkedIn profile. And we were doing that for a while at half price of $37.50, and that special ran out. But we have decided to offer that to everybody that listens to How's Your ePresence. So by listening to this show, you automatically get that discount back. Normally it's $75 a person. Now for you, because you're a listener, it's $37.50. How do you get there? Well, we have a brand new URL. It's epresence.me/podcast.webinars, and it's a banner across the bottom of the screen there. If that didn't make sense, you can look there. epresence.me/podcast.webinar. Go there, sign up. We're doing them we're doing one a week-ish, and there's only 20 spots a class. We often see between 5 and 7 people, so you get individual attention. So join us there. Love to have you join us, and special for those folks here listening at How's Your ePresence, because why? We love that you're here. Share the news. You can pass that little URL on to other folks, and we would love to have you join us. So today we have a great show for you, as we always do, but today I'm pretty excited because we've got someone who's going to help us out with some unique things. If I could give you a crystal ball that could tell you the personality of a person on LinkedIn before you met them, would that be worthwhile? This information can tell you how a client would like for you to communicate with them. Or maybe they want, for example, maybe they want more info. Maybe they want less. Maybe they want you to hit them fast with some quick info. Summarize it. If you could know this by looking at somebody's LinkedIn profile, would that be valuable? Well, I'm going to tell you what. There is a crystal ball, and we're going to give it to you today. So make sure you stay tuned. Our guest today is an expert in crystal balls, and he is Merrick Rosenberg with Take Flight Learning. Merrick, are you there?
Great to be here, Mark.
There he is. Glad that you are here. So, Merrick, you've been doing a lot of work with helping people figure out how to work better in teams, and I'm probably going to grossly oversimplify this, so I probably had to shut up. Give us a little bit of sense of how you started Take Flight Learning, and what did you do before?
Well, back in 1991, team building was just in its infancy. And I started one of the first team building companies, teaching people how to work together and having fun going outside. Remember team building back then? Yes, it was trust falls. Haven't done one of those in about 15 years, but they were
I
fun
love the
back
trust
then.
fall.
It was a blast back then. And it didn't take long to realize, look, personalities are impacting team dynamics. They're impacting how people communicate with each other. And I just started applying personality within teams to help people to work together more effectively.
Great. And so you focused at that point on what? What is there's a baseline that you guys use, I guess. Is that the right term?
Well, at that time, it was really more about team dynamics, getting people to learn how to work together.
Gotcha.
But, I was using the DISC model in terms of personality styles. That's just, nobody owns DISC. It's just out there in the public domain. And it was a lot of fun teaching people how to understand themselves and how to work and communicate with other people better.
This is interesting. So you just said something I did not know. So DISC is part of the public domain. I thought somebody owned that.
Yeah,
How
a lot
did
of
that
people
come around?
A lot of people think that. In 1928, William Marston had put out a book called The Emotions of Normal People, basically saying that, look, DISC applies to, quote, normal people. We all are a little dysfunctional, but that's okay. And
No, that's certainly the case for me.
Yeah, it's all right. And no one ever have trademarked it in the sense of just using that as a model. And so it's out there. People can apply DISC however they like to. I reinvented it myself, tried to make it easier, but anybody can use the DISC model.
Interesting. Okay, so what do each of those letters typically stand for?
So, that's what's kind of funny. If you go back to William Marston, he used some interesting words, like the S was submissive, and we had to get rid of that. That was just not okay. The I was inducement, and what is inducement? And compliance was the C. So look, there's not even consensus on what the letters are. And so for me, I swapped the letters out and tried to make it easier. So the D, which most people would agree is the dominant style, I think of as the eagle. And so look, let's have some fun with it. If you think of an eagle, what would you say are the characteristics or traits of an eagle? When you think of that eagle style, what comes to mind?
I think of someone who, and I did a full screen here so everybody can see the birds behind you. So I think when I think of an eagle, this is a predator, somebody who is in charge, someone who is flying above everybody else.
Yeah, if they're a person, hopefully not a predator, but if they're the person, they're at 10,000 feet, they're big picture, it's all about results, it's about getting it done, they're direct and they're decisive. And you get it. The eagle's pretty straightforward.
Makes total sense. Sure. And so let's do this. Behind you, you've got all the birds. So go through the birds and describe those personalities.
Let's walk through it. So the next one is the parrot. So picture the parrot. I mean, first thought, what do you think? When you picture that parrot energy, what do you think they're like?
Oh, it's me. It's somebody who loves to talk. It's a communicator and typically kind of shoots from the hip.
Right, you get it. It's just already intuitive. You don't have to memorize what the letter I stands for. The parrot they're enthusiastic, they're social, they're talkative, they're optimistic. For a parrot, it's all good. It just everything always works out. What could be bad?
Yeah,
and they're chatty. They're never going to win the quiet game. If you have a kid sitting in the back seat of the car, let's see who can stay quiet the longest.
Yeah,
not the parrot child.
Right, and if you go to dinner with someone and they're a parrot, you're probably going to be entertained for most of the time.
They're going to have a lot of stories.
Sure, absolutely, cool.
So next up, we've got the dove. So dove, universal symbols of what? When you picture a dove, what do you imagine?
So I struggle with the dove. I'm going to tell you. I think that the dove is someone who is kind-hearted, who does care about how they look, right? A little bit of interest in making sure that they're accepted and liked, but also maybe a little bit intuitive and maybe not necessarily somebody that wants to be out front.
Yeah, I love it. You have it. And it's this very compassionate, caring, harmonious, helpful. They just want everyone to get along. And they're the person in your family who says, don't start, let it go. It's the holidays. And by the way, if any of your listeners out there are saying, I wonder if I have someone in my family like that, it's probably you.
I love that. So if you're wondering if it's you, it probably is you.
Yeah, it probably is.
Gosh, yeah.
The last one is the owl. So first thought, when you think of an owl, what comes to mind?
Oh, so an owl is someone that loves to analyze, that's very wise, probably reads a lot, and probably likes spreadsheets.
Yeah. Hey, it's all about knowledge. It's about logic and accuracy and precision and data. And they ask a ton of questions. And so, look, the beauty of using the four birds is that they're already intuitive. I didn't have to teach it to you. You already had it, which means you
That
don't
is
have to
so cool.
memorize it. It's
Yeah,
already in there.
I love that. And as a matter of fact, it's the whole when you and I started talking, our first connection, I had a great time going through this with you because I thought it was extremely interesting that, well, and you phrased it, you put it to me in a way that I thought was interesting because I asked you, I said, so how do you get it to stick? And you said, I know how to get it to stick, and it's with the birds. And you went through them because it is easier to remember, oh, you're an eagle, or
Yeah.
you're a parrot, or
Simple.
you're an owl. Yeah, it makes sense. Did you tell me that you do sessions and consulting with companies where you give out the birds and people put it on their desks? Is that
Oh
what they
yeah,
do?
yeah. In fact, I have them right here. Literally, I'll go into a company and there'll be one of these guys like on every single desk.
Oh, that
And
is
so,
hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you walk in and you're like, okay, I get it. This person is the parrot. Uh-oh, I'm walking into this office. There are more of the owl. So yeah, that's it's funny. You walk into some organizations. There's hundreds of them. They're everywhere, and and look, you don't have to try to remember it. You walk in and you see that eagle looking back at you, and you know, all right, I better get to the point quickly.
Yeah, and here's something I think is interesting because I took a disc test, whatever that was, back in the mid '90s, as a matter of fact, at the Grand Hyatt San Francisco. As a matter of fact, I was in the hotel business for many, many years. I was nervous to give my boss, to give my superiors the knowledge of where I was in on the disc model because I thought it could make me appear weak, or they could manipulate that and make and put and kind of pigeonhole me. How do you get over that as an obstacle?
I think it's powerful when your manager knows your style because then they can give you feedback in your style. In other words, let's say you're an owl and they're a parrot, and their natural feedback mode is to walk in and say, "You were awesome. Loved your energy, passion, and
Right.
enthusiasm." And an owl, you're like, what is that? That doesn't count as feedback. But if I
What
knew
is
you
wrong
were
with you?
no, like what? That doesn't even count.
Right, right.
But if they knew you're an owl, for example, they could walk in and say, "I want to thank you for what you did with that client. Not only did you do this, this, and this, but specifically, I wanted to highlight some areas," and it would feed you. So if your manager understands you, they can coach you within your style instead of trying to change you into something else.
So I'm curious about this. Some bird styles are better at adopting this than others. I can imagine there's some style birds that just like, I don't want to do this. How do you deal? How do you manage through that to get those leaders to adopt because of their style?
Well, I don't know if there's any one style that's more flexible. I call it the chameleon, being
Right.
flexible and adaptable to the moment. It's just as hard for the eagle to demonstrate empathy as it is for that dove to stand in their power and be very assertive. Both,
Yeah.
that's just as hard. It's just as hard for the owl to flex and dial up energy and enthusiasm as it is for the parrot to dial it down and share a ton of details. So
Right.
we all have flexibility challenges. They're just different and based on our style.
Interesting stuff. I think that's fascinating. So you you started Take Flight Mark Learning, excuse me. When? How long did you start this organization?
So it grew out of Team Builders Plus in 2012.
Mm-hmm. So 2012. So you've been doing this for a while. This is something.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been successful. You have. I have seen you speak to major corporations as presenters. So you people can hire you to speak to their companies, or you'll go in and help them understand each other and put birds on their desk.
Yeah, either sometimes do keynote. I've spoken in 47 states, so I've gotten to see the United States, and but we also run training programs too, so you can really learn how to use this from a not just a understanding others, but from a selling perspective and also from a leadership perspective too.
Awesome. Okay. So here's why, for all of you wondering, why Merrick is with us today is because he did something that I thought was so cool. He talked me through LinkedIn and we went through the Shark Tank personalities and well, he told me their personality based on their photograph, which I thought was really interesting. So if you're on LinkedIn and you land on somebody's profile picture, you can make an assessment based on how they appear. Merrick, do you have this on your screen?
I do. I can share
All
it
right.
with you.
So Eric, let's bring up Merrick's screen, and if you want to take me out, let Merrick run. And Merrick, just go through each of the sharks and how. Well, do what you did with me. I don't need to tell you what.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun. All right.
All right, we're going to flip things around here. Let's get it up the screen.
Can you see Mark Cuban there?
Not yet. Hold on. So this is a new thing. Sharing a screen like this is a we haven't done this yet.
And so while we're working on that, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through each of the sharks and show you their LinkedIn photo. And we'll take a look and see, can you figure out what their style is just from looking at the LinkedIn photo?
Cool. All right.
All right. So you got that there, or should we try that again?
Yeah. So minimize StreamYard and just bring up LinkedIn by itself on your screen. All
right. Let's do that. Hold on one second here. We are going to minimize stream. All right, how are we doing?
Yeah, let's see. And Eric, how are we doing? There we go. Oh, perfect.
All right, there we go. Good to go. All right,
wait a minute. Hold on. Eric, how are we doing, buddy? Whose screen is that? Is that your screen?
I have Mark Cuban up.
So maybe he needs to hit the button on his screen to say share his screen? So come back to StreamYard, Merrick.
Yep, I did.
This is the great thing about a live show.
Let's try that again. I hit share, but there's another share. Whoops, here we go. All right. Yes, pay no attention to the person behind the curtain there. All right. All right, let's try that one more time. All right, share screen. And here we go. Nope, it's for some reason is not. Oh, wait a second. Application window. Here we go. All right, now we're working.
The beautiful,
How's that?
The beauty of modern technology.
That's it. How we doing?
So add to stream. Here we go. Perfect. Now we see Mark Cuban. Rock on.
Okay, beautiful. So I went to LinkedIn. These are not just random photos that I found online of Mark Cuban and various sharks on Shark Tank. This is the photo they picked to capture their essence. Now look at Mark.
That.
He's sitting on a private jet, cigar in his mouth, his NBA championships trophy. This is his LinkedIn photo. For me, this is, first of all, he has a lot of Parrot. He's got a lot of eagle in there too. It's about winning. Eagles care about winning, but they're look at this. I mean, it's not suit and tie, formal posed. It's like, that's right, I won.
Look at me. I am, and I don't blame. I will tell you this. I could see the same thing. I don't know that I had the cigar. Maybe I would have the cigar, but this is so cool. I mean, what a unique thing. Plus, it's a power move. It certainly is a powerful stance.
This is not a dove photo. A dove would not take this picture.
Right.
In fact, when you go into Eagles offices, they often have awards, trophies. If anybody has framed their college diploma, it's in there. This is they care about the things they've won and earned, and here it is.
So. Let's say I don't know Mark Cuban, and I pull up his profile, and this is his profile shot. How would I want to communicate if I'm trying to get in the door to speak to Mark, or I'm going to go interview with him? How should I try to communicate with him?
So you look at that and you say, okay, this is a lot of eagle and it's Parrot. The pace is fast. They're going to make quick decisions. I always say for these folks, be brief, be brilliant, be gone.
Fantastic.
Do not share a ton of details and information. Have energy, get to the point, be assertive, that they'll resonate with you.
I love it. So say that again. Give me the 3 B's.
Be brief, be brilliant, be gone. Okay. And that is it. That's all you got to do.
I think it's great. Okay, cool. So there you go, Mark Cuban.
So next up, we've got Damon John. Now, first of all, he's got a geographic shape behind him. He's trying to smile. I mean, I'm giving him points for the smile attempt there.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's painful.
It hurts. It hurts, but I will smile. His hands are perfectly positioned. He's got a geographic design behind him. This is owl. That is owl energy.
Wow.
It's very formal, structured. It's postured. He's just holding himself in that photo. You can almost hear the photographer saying, okay, hold still. Okay, hold on. We're going to get it.
Yep.
Did you get
it? Breathe.
Did you get it?
This is incredible.
There's an analytical nature to these folks. So you're selling someone who's the owl. It's about the structure. It's about the detail. You have to present it. You don't start with the bottom line, which you do with the eagle. You work your way up to that conclusion. Let me walk you through all the information, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. But this tells you this is someone who you better be prepared for, because if you're not, go away, come back when you're ready.
Interesting. Are there 3 B's with them? There probably isn't.
No.
It's not that easy, is it? You got to have more detail than that.
Yeah, it's maybe some C's, like clarity, concise, communication, clear. I mean, it's all about just provide a lot of detail and information.
So you can't give too much information to these guys.
As much as you have, they will take it.
Wow,
in fact, after you meet with them, send them more. they'll be happy.
Great. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, by now you probably need to jump over on YouTube or on Facebook, because you've got to see these pictures. So everything that we're talking about, you can catch on the video, YouTube or Facebook, and check this out. Great. So what's next, Merrick?
Let's forge ahead to Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. I mean, look at that face. I mean, literally, it's like the bald eagle is like staring down its prey.
Oh my goodness!
They have darkened part of his face. They have cut off the top of his head. He's wearing a black suit, and I mean, this is all eagle. Mark Cuban had some parrot. You could see that was fun.
Oh,
this is serious.
Good point. Sure.
This is serious. But talk about those be brief, be brilliant, be gone. You better be focusing on bottom line cost. What are you going to do? What's it going to get me? What are the results I can expect? And how fast can I expect them? Look at that face. Not even a smile. There's an intensity there. That's
kind of scary.
eagle. Yeah, it's all eagle. You feel
all
it.
right. I got to wait for you to go through the next person, because I got a huge question here when it comes to Shark Tank. Okay,
let's do it. So here, Barbara Corcoran. Oh, look at that smile. I mean, that parrot? I mean, this is the difference between the parrot smile and the dove smile.
Right.
Look at those teeth, the big grin. She's got energy. A real estate agent. That's where she made her money. I'd say some secondary eagle in there too. I mean, she's got a parrot, and we're not just one of these, but look. You better have energy. You want to sell a parrot, the more energy you have, the more excited they get. So dial it up. Forget about details. Details don't sell the parrots. Dial up the excitement and you're good.
So so what's that called when you get those little lines by your eyes because you smile?
Oh, the smile lines.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can have, even if you walk up to someone and they're not in a smiling moment, but you can see those lines on the side of their eyes, they're probably a parrot, or at least have some kind of parrot in them, right?
Yeah, and once again, this is their LinkedIn photo. From just going to LinkedIn, pulling up this photo, there you are. And watch the next again, same thing. Lori Grenier, look at that smile. She's got energy and charisma. You feel it. And you can see the teeth. That's the sign you're looking at a parrot. Big energy, big smile, looking right at you. It's like Barbara. They both have that parrot energy.
So this is a great point. And one of the things you've said is every time you see teeth, there's parrot. So there's some parrot parrots are going to show, they're going to smile, right?
Yeah. Now watch this though. Now we pull up Robert Herjavec.
Ah, look at that. There's a smile, but no teeth.
No teeth. And I always say, look, when you meet the dove, it's like you genuinely feel they are happy to meet you. And the dove smile is, I'm happy to get this opportunity to work with you. The parrot smile, quite frankly, has nothing to do with you. It's like, hey, what a great day. This is for you.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
And look at that compassion. Look at that. There's a dove energy. I remember watching one episode and Robert turned to Mr. Wonderful, turned to Kevin O'Leary, and he thought Kevin was trying to take advantage of him. And he said, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. And that is powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not weak. They may have a softer, more personal handshake, but it's not weak. It's about connection. It's about rapport and relationship. But look at that. You can look at that and say, there's dove energy there. Feel the difference. Remember, now contrast that to Mr. Wonderful staring you down, or Mark Cuban's on a corporate jet, or Damon John in a very formal position with geometric shapes behind him. You can feel the energy of someone's style just by looking at their image that they've selected to represent them on LinkedIn.
That is so cool. So cool. So that's all of them, right?
Yep. Should we bring it back here?
So here's my question for you. I'm going on Shark Tank, and I've got to present to this group. There's every personality on the other side of the room. How do you appeal to everyone? Or do you say, nope, I'm going to focus on this person?
So this is the power of understanding the four birds, that we will typically impose our style on others. So if I'm a parrot, which I am, parrot with secondary eagle, I'm probably going to walk in, have a lot of energy, not share a lot of detail. But what if there are a lot of owls in that room? I'm not selling them. So here's what you do. You're going to walk into a room. Imagine this day where you've been working with that one person. This is your prospect, and this is the day. They walk you into the boardroom, and the senior leadership team is in there. There's 8 people, but you've only met one. Yeah, well,
Right.
whose style are you likely to talk to? Either your own or the person you've been speaking to for the past 3 months. But what about everyone else in the room? So watch this. See if you can figure out what I'm doing here. I walk in and I say, okay, bottom line, here's what we can do for your organization. Here's the results we are going to make happen. I got to tell you, this is exciting. It's new and it is different. We are going to help you go so far beyond your competition. This is so exciting. Now, I know it's new and I know it's different. We're going to work with you. We're going to be there for you. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to make sure your staff is comfortable. And I can tell you, once this new product and new system's in place, it's going to be so much better for you and your customers. So let me walk you through step by step and show you exactly how we can help your organization. So what did I do?
I was going through the birds in my head. I saw you speak to every single one of the personality types.
And what happens is when I communicate to all 4 types, I connect with everyone. Wow, and you'll only tune in when I trigger your hardwiring anyway. When I'm in parrot rah-rah mode, the owl may not care. But the owl leaves that meeting and they got the detail.
Yep.
The parrot leaves and they're pumped. The dove feels comfortable. And the eagle, bottom line, right up front. You got to start with the eagle too, because attention span, you'll lose them. So eagles and parrots up front. Doves and owls, they're very patient. They'll hang in there. No worries.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you got down to the, okay, we're going to go through all the detail. I thought, oh, crap, I got to sit here for this?
Yeah, I'm good. You know what? Can you just dismiss the parrots and eagles?
I like this guy. I'm good. He's in. No problem.
Done.
So interesting. So this is so cool. And what I like about it is that we're able to share how you can look at somebody's LinkedIn profile and understand how to communicate with them. And then you turn around and you answer the question, okay, if I'm in a board interview for a job and I'm a COO and I want to be CEO, you're going to end up in a board. And so this is important. So if you're interviewing, you got to speak to each of those personality types around the table.
You've got to connect with everyone.
And you've shared how to do that. Oh, I think that is really, really cool. All right. So I'm going to tell you what, you're so good because we're right at time. This is awesome. How can people, well, first of all, you have some books that you've written about this subject. If someone wants more, what are the books?
So you can learn more about the styles if you check out the Chameleon. It's called the Chameleon, Life-Changing Wisdom for anyone who has a personality or knows someone who does. I figured that should cover everybody.
That sounds like it, sure.
And the Chameleon's 22 Fables teaches you about the styles. You'll see yourself in the stories. It's not just about work, it's about our relationships and life. And you'll learn how to read people. You'll learn how to connect with people. My new book's coming out on July 7th. It is called Personality Wins, Who Will Take the White House and How We Know. And
very interesting.
So what I wanted to do is teach the birds through the lens of US presidents. So it's a fun walk through history, learning about the styles. You'll see yourself in the stories. You'll see that the eagle presidents, the doves, the parrots, the owls, and you'll really get to learn the styles in a deep and meaningful way by using the presidents as the way to make that happen.
Okay, so I'm going to make a guess here that our current president is an eagle.
Wait, you don't think he's a dove?
I waffled on that, quite frankly.
He was close. It was on the line. He is definitely
probably the sensitive. No.
Yeah, he's definitely an eagle with the dial turned up a little bit. So without a doubt, he is the eagle.
So he's probably got some parrot in him, I'm guessing, right?
Maybe a little, but actually it's more about that eagle directness and bluntness and straightforward more than anything else.
Wow, interesting stuff. So when we first talked, I asked you this. I said, so, are presidents a certain type of personality? I didn't even realize you were writing the book. And you said that, the way history has brought us along, that it seems like parrots and eagles are more apt to become president today than doves and owls, where doves and owls used to be the only personalities that used to be presidents. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, in fact, almost all presidents prior to 1932, before radio, were owls and doves. The first 6 presidents were owls. The the 5 presidents leading up to the Civil War were all doves. Prior to 1932, overwhelmingly doves and owls. They sounded reasonable and logical in the newspaper. But once we had TV and radio in the 1930s, you heard FDR's booming voice, and it was game over for the owls and doves. And overwhelmingly, we see parrots and eagles as presidents today. It doesn't mean that they're going to be better. It means they show up differently, like Nixon owl versus JFK parrot in the debates. You see that Kennedy charisma, and they're just going to take the day.
I just think it's amazing. I'm astounded at some of the ways that politicians communicate, but they have the data, they know. So if we come across as an owl or a parrot, they don't think of it, as a eagle or a parrot, we're going to more likely win a re-election or win an election. I think that's really fascinating. All right, Merrick, how can people find you?
Yeah, go to takeflightlearning.com, and you can learn all about the birds and the styles and the training that we offer. And in fact, if people want to take a little mini assessment and learn about which bird are you more of an eagle, parrot, dove, or owl, or a combination of them, we have a short code that you can text personality wins, all one word, to 33777. So just text personality wins to that number, and you can take the assessment.
So I did this. I took this assessment, and it came out and said I was a parrot. And I also like it because when it came across, there was a little parrot. You actually don't say you're a parrot, but there's just a little bird in the top corner that said, that because you and I spoke, I understood where that was going. Well, that's awesome. Anything else we need to know before we wrap up?
I would just challenge people to make sure that you're not imposing your personality on others. Make sure that you're using your style, but not expecting others to adapt to you. You've got to flex to them. And if you flex to them, whether it's in a sales setting or a leadership setting or dealing with a customer, if you can flex to others around you, not only do they get their needs met, but you get your needs met.
See, and I love this because it's intuitive. It makes total sense. And the reason I'm sure you find this, it makes sense to your audience because they're one of the birds. And when you start speaking to them in their language, they say, oh, I get this. That's how I want to be talked to. How did you know that?
Yeah.
I think that's really, really extremely interesting. All right, Merrick, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. I want to chat with you after the show because I got a quick follow-up with you. But thanks for being here. And great content. Mark. We love it, man.
Thank you.
So for the rest of you, thanks for being here on How's Your ePresence. What a great show, right? What unbelievably great knowledge that you have now. You can go onto LinkedIn, and now you know how to communicate to people on LinkedIn, even if you're not in front of them. So check out the sharks. Make sure if you're listening to this on the podcast, go check out the video. You've got to see these pictures to really understand how Merrick took them and converted their bird type to those photographs. If you're interested about ePresence, you know what we do. We're a social media agency. We manage personal, company, and collegiate social media. We also offer consulting. We'll do individual consulting, full company consulting. We can clean up the CEO's social media accounts as well as his entire team or her entire team. We also help college students here's what's interesting. We sit down with them. We do a mock interview. We show them how to clean up a resume and how to clean up their LinkedIn profile because they're so used to TikTok. LinkedIn is a totally different place. Also, we offer those webinars, and you see the ticker going across the bottom. You can join us for one of those webinars, or if you'd like for us to help you on your social media, just go to epresence.me/how's your ePresence or call us 404-939-8094, and we can help you on your social media. And because you listen to the show, we give you a 5% discount. So just go right there or mention the show when you contact us, and we'll give you that discount. So remember, we want you to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed already, you like the content, you'll see right down there is the button to subscribe and join us on Facebook or LinkedIn, or Facebook or YouTube, and you'll get a notification when we go live. And podcast listeners, we're everywhere. iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, blah, 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 all the places. Even on your Amazon Echo, you can catch us to all those places, and we're adding content every week. We share news, we bring on great guests. Please add us, because we want you to benefit from all this great knowledge. Finally, I just want to wrap it up. For my guest, Merrick Rosenberg, I'm Mark Galvin, and this has been How's Your ePresence?